Greetings everybody! Oh yeah, it's time to go old school. So today we are here, as usual, in X-Plane 11, and we are going to fly the beautiful FlyJSim 727. This is the freighter version, as you can probably see. One of the best for this sim. Beautiful plane, very nicely done. And I had it for years, but I never really did a video with it, partly because it's challenging to fly and master. And also I don't have a yoke. These planes from FlyJSim, the Jurassic 737-200 and this one, and for some degree the Q400 are much more suited for yoke, in my opinion. I have my trusty Logitech 3D Extreme Pro, which has served me for years and years. But we're going to see how it handles the 727. And we can do VOR to VOR or INS, but I think for today's flight we're going to take the standard FMS and GPU card. We are going to bring some packages here from Budapest to Köln and establish electrical power, battery, and connect the GPU. Get the power on. Yeah, this is the V3 version of the plane, the latest. And I'm still learning this plane and practicing, so probably there will be some mistakes on the way. But I will manage to bring it from point A to point B. And emergency exit lights. That light should not be on. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I also have the 727 Flight Master book, which is jam-packed with details about this fantastic aircraft. Okay, but I do need to study the manuals and that book a little bit closer. At least the fire warning is working. Oh, probably, yeah. Essential power. Just put it to standby and that light is off. Should I put it to external power? Yeah, I promise for the next flight I will read up on this plane. But yeah, let's try external power. I think I can just leave it on standby, but for now it should be fine. And that's the APU panel. We can also do the fire warning. And what else? I can listen to the 80s before we generate a flight plan using SimBrief 132. Oh yeah, there is also a slight problem with this one. A couple of frequencies are untunable. Yeah, there is no 380, so we have to do a trickery here in the FMS. We can do it like that. I guess these old school comm systems are limited. So 2994.
Visibility more than 10.
Departing runway 13 right, and we do have Charlie.
Altimeter 2994. Arriving runway 13 right. Departing runways 13 right, 13 left. Advise
and there's going to be a slight crosswind. Alright, we have Charlie. And let's go to SimBrief. Also check the weights. I will try to do the best to match these weights, what SimBrief will give me as data, but I don't think SimBrief has a 727 freighter airframe in the database, so I'm just going to go with approximate numbers, try to match them as close as we can. So 13 left or 13 right is the departure runway. main cargo weight, and total fuel. By the way, this plane is also, as the 737-200, has a fantastic maintenance system. I just have it turned off for this flight because I'm not ready to handle emergencies, but the more we fly this plane, the more it will accumulate some wear and tear, and eventually it will have a failure. I think my PDF is ready. Oh yeah, there it is. And that's the flight plan. Good old JT8D. Block fuel 11815. 11,800. We do have kilograms on both data sets. Yep, zero fuel weight, 57.9, that's close enough, and cargo 11.3. Yeah, that's a bit different. Passengers 4. Yeah, the captain, first officer, flight engineer, and probably just a dude from the company in the jump seat. Okay. I like this data. Takeoff weight, gross weight. It's close enough. Oops, we're going to need that for the flight plan. So we're going to go from Budapest. We'll get the Avi tab. And departing 13 right. Budapest to Köln, Bonn airport. And just put in a flight number and departure runway 13 right and GILAP 2J departure. Fantastic. I was going to get rid of that direct. I don't know what that actually is, but I don't need it. So put in the waypoints, couple of direct, and also airways are on the way. And we do take the nearest of those two. So the departure, I'm just going to fly for a while manually. Well, actually, I will see. Haven't really done that flight. Did not practice, just another one with this plane. So, but that's the good thing about these sims. Improvise, adapt and overcome. So, the map is going to be around 1.5 hours of airtime, approximately. Yeah, this thing can go really fast. We got 3 engines, although we are burning a lot of fuel. And ERNAP, which brings us to our star, to Köln 24. I think it's a short runway, actually not that short, but shorter than the other ones. Okay, can do that. ERNAP 1C and ILS 24, yep. Köln transition. Fantastic. We got the flight plan. I just check out the map. Yeah, that's the Köln transition right there. A little bit of a weather data. Top of descent point is also there. Well, looks like we are going to have a decent weather. Although there have been some thunderstorms in the past couple of weeks here. So legs page, let's check for discontinuities. No. Nice. Okay. That's our arrival right there. And also check the departure here from Budapest. Yeah, a couple of restrictions there. So 127, we are going to fly at runway heading for 7 nautical miles, then turn. Okay, straightforward enough. And trench altitude, I think it's 9,000 here, as far as I can remember. I don't have access to charts right now. And flight level 320, Mach 80, and descent 5,000, transitional level in Germany, as far as I can remember. And there is the top of descent point. Although with this 2.5 VPA we are not going to bother. This plane does not have an auto thrust system, so we have to manage it manually. Alright, cool, that's the top of descent point. And also check the progress page. But first set 127 here, heading. I get ahead of myself. So runway heading. And we can study APU, also engage fuel pumps. Not sure if it's the correct time for that, but like I said, not doing everything by the book. Hydraulic system B is on, and pitot. Beacon lights, we're going to move soon. And APU. Going to hold that switch in the start position for a couple of seconds. And looks like exhaust temperature is climbing. And this plane has the APU in not in the usual place, not at the back of the plane. It's right here, because we have 3 engines right at the back, and you can see the exhaust. I also have a couple of views set up, although this plane, also the normal variants, the 100 and 200, does not have a passenger cabin. But I have wing views set up, and that's where we are going. We are here at Terminal 1 in Budapest, and a couple of dudes right there. And those guys get to the chopper. Yeah, beautiful early morning. All kinds of planes here. So, we can go and call the pushback. Yeah, we're going to go to the... Yeah, we are going the other way.
Ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you are ready.
And we can go ahead, start the pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
and APU power. That automatically disconnected the GPU from the bus. And again, I should have just put it to standby, but learning by doing. And we can soon also start the engines. Flight director.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Yeah, put it back to heading, although probably I'm going to switch it off for takeoff. And let's see, V-speeds, set the bugs, flap retraction speeds, V1, VR, V2. It's going to put 250. That's going to be the limit, below 10,000 as always. I'm going to go to IS hold mode on the autopilot. And 7,000 is the initial clearance. Yeah, flap retraction speed to 15, normal EPR, set the takeoff trim.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
And I can also put Budapest VR here, just as a reference point, 117.30. So we have a DMA2 indication. Yep, right there. Also going to tune in a couple of VR stations on the way.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Alright, we are good to start the engines. And let's look for the N2. Here the old school engine panel. No fancy screens and computers. Nice. Yeah, this plane also comes with great F-mode sounds. And number 2. And 2 is rising. Yeah, we can also do the power back procedure, which was in the 80s.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
And we've got good engine start on number 1 and number 2. You can go ahead and do number 3. Yeah, this plane is fantastic. Not as complex as the Tupolev 154, but it's also a good challenge to fly. And disconnect number 3. Oops.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed.
Cool.
And signal on the
So,
right. Well, see you next time
good
and have a
start.
safe flight.
We have indication everything is normal. And bus tie, close, make sure everything is powered by the engines. Yep, generator. Now we can kill the APU. There's the hand signal. Let's wave at him and flash the taxi lights. I'm just going to put it later to TRA. Close the guards. And yeah, we are almost good to go. Hydraulic system. Pressurization. Oh, AC, left and right, and gas per fan. Not sure about that, but switch it on. Transformer rectifiers. Everything is working. Alright, let's set takeoff flaps 20. Nice. Nice. And we do need a little bit more power to get us going. A little bit heavy today. All these deliveries. And check the speeds once again. Takeoff APR 215. Good old Terminal 1 here in Budapest. And we are not going that far for runway 13 right. I'm just probably going to add a little bit of color correction later when I edit this video, because the default X-plane colors are a little bit washed out. And beautiful summer morning here, Budapest. Köln is going to be a little bit cloudy, according to the weather data. And I'm doing that a little bit early, but there's a lot to do on this plane. Oops, RTO. Normally crew of 3 would do everything. And let's make sure we are staying on the taxiway. So it's quite a workload that we have. But no excuses. Practice makes perfect. Switch to flight mode, pressurization. Oops. Not sure if I do that at the right moment, but like I said, for the next video I'm going to be much more knowledgeable thanks to the very well... The manuals for this plane are extremely well done. One of the best that I've seen. And also the fantastic book, the 727 Flight Master. So I'm just going to study up. if I have the time, of course. And strobe lights. Let's say we are cleared. We have been cleared on the active runway. There's no traffic. I'm just waiting when World Traffic 3 will be updated to welcome. Although maybe I have to look into other traffic add-ons for this game. And just lining up with the runway. There should be plenty of runway for our takeoff today. So takeoff, trim, make sure everything is correct. Yep. Here weather radar, although I don't think it's working properly. Flight director, nope, not just yet. Lights are on. Yeah, we are ready to depart. Let's do the stabilization of the engines. And then set takeoff thrust EPR to 15. And before 60 knots, takeoff thrust should be set. And 213. Yep, stay on the center line. And there's a little bit of wind. And here we go. Soon we can pull the gear up and trim it to maintain 15 degrees pitch up or V2 plus 10. And we're away. Fantastic stuff. Okay, let's trim it down a little bit, pick up speed, retract flaps at the predetermined speeds, and then accelerate slowly to 250. Let's put it to GPS mode so the FMS navigation is enabled. Pitch command, maintain that pitch. And we are climbing. Heading 127. Flaps up. I also should reduce speed a little bit. 9000 is the next step. Local transition altitude. Altitude hold mode, and IS hold 250 below 10,000, and go back to 1.9 EPR or EPR as some would say. And then we're turning towards the next waypoint. And 5,000 feet. At 9,000, set standard. And after 10,000 we can increase speed. Yep, 7,000. Still 16 nautical miles. There we go. We are getting closer. Beautiful orthographic scenery, and here put the map. $9,000. Yeah, go up to 32, flight level 320, and arm. And we are once again climbing. Oops, we are speeding up. And it's, it went into vertical speed mode from IS hold. And I know, below 10,000 it's 250 before everybody without watching the full video goes commenting. I do know. And flight director navlock. Yeah, I think when the altitude hold mode engaged, then the autopilot automatically went into vertical speed mode. I should have remembered that. So, next time I will know for sure. Yeah, some minor mistakes, but right now we are above 10,000, so we can increase speed. Also, I can just adjust the rate of climb and thrust as well. So, flaps are completely up, gear up, and in off mode the handle is, and we are on our way. So, yep, go up to 300 knots. And looks like the FMS is working correctly. GPS. They're also going to tune into some of the VOR DME stations just to get a DME2 indication. And 15,000 feet, a little bit more to go. And right now we are flying over Austria. We just left Vienna, or Wien, or Beach. And stable at 32,000 feet. Our cruising altitude, Mach 0.8. Well, we're a little bit faster, but around 300 knots. And right now just managing the thrust, around 1.8 EPR. Maybe slow down a little bit, but around that 1.8, 1.9 EPR. And top of descent point is a little bit farther away, 272 nautical miles. But so far so good. It's a little bit cloudy. This is going to be the case all over Germany, and also in Köln, our rival airport. So we're just going to cross for a short amount of time over to the Czech Republic. Or actually, yeah, not going to fly over the Alps. It's going to be on our left side in the distance. Beautiful plane, this 727, and fantastically done. So, top of descent point coming up. It's going to maintain this speed until 10,000 feet, and we are near Frankfurt, between Frankfurt, Erfurt and Siegen. But we are not that far away. And also a little bit of a orthographic area. And we can soon prepare for descent. Well, actually, we can begin descending. So initially we are going down to 10,000 feet. And speed, looking good. I'm just going to slow down to 250 below 10,000. Probably going to need the speed brakes for that. And 3 nautical miles we can engage. Now vertical speed mode already. Oops, that's climbing and descend. It's going to go with the 1.5, minus 1.5. Just about minus 1,500 feet per minute descent rate, and also manage the thrust and throttles in the meantime. Don't want to overspeed, but also I want to be down on the altitudes and also in time to intercept the ILS. So from 10,000 we are going to go down to 5 local transition altitude and 3,000 feet, if I remember correctly, where we going to go on the ILS. And in the meantime I cannot really see Köln on the map. I was going to tune in the Warburg VOR or VOR DME, just to have an indication right there on DME 2. And we are descending. Thrust, move it back a little bit. So the FMC with the VPA 2.5 degrees, it's not that relevant. I'm just going to manage descent manually. And Düsseldorf, Köln, yep. We are almost there. Speed looking good. And back to the lax page. I already tuned in the ILS frequency on the nav radios, standby frequency, for runway 24. And still no Köln airport. But I'm just going to listen to the 80s later on. Also tune in the Köln VOR station. It will be cloudy, a little bit windy. So we're going to see how we fare with our landing. There is the Köln-Bonn airport on the map. And let's see. 80s 132, 125. That's a bit farther away. 67 nautical miles. Altimeter 3003. I'm just going to listen to the 80s when we are in range. X-Plane 11 always has 50 as the range. 50 nautical miles. So wind 260 at 5. That's going to be okay. We are landing at 24, and that's the VOR DME. Let's put in there. So we have a DME 2 indication. Yep, 63 miles. Fantastic, we are moving down 21,000 feet. We are a bit fast, so decrease engine power. Yeah, I increased the V speed around minus 1900, and let's put in 250 at 10,000 and set the box. VREF 129, flaps 30. I think the max flap setting for landing is 30. There is also a flap 40 setting on this plane, but I think it's never used for landing because it creates so much drag. And we are below 10,000 feet, maintaining 250 knots. Managed to slow down with the help of the speed brakes, and landing lights are on. Auto brakes, not yet. I don't know if I'm going to use them or just use manual braking. And otherwise we are looking good, although a little bit high. And flap extension limits. Maybe going to extend them soon, just to add a little bit of drag. And 244, 5,000 feet. Yeah, let's go down to 3,000. There's a restriction 5 and 3 right there on the next two waypoints. And we are still in GPS mode. Soon I'm going to switch over to nav. And we are flying through clouds. And let's see, switch to ILS. once we are on course 243, then I'm going to switch to nav and fly director to approach. And we are slowing down further, about 200, and then slowly, gradually we can extend flaps until 30. But yeah, so far this approach looks okay to me. Down to 6,015 miles to go. Heading bug set approximately to the runway heading, and soon we are at the local transition altitude. So I think, what was the, actually we can listen to the 80s.
Köln, Bonn information echo. 700 Zulu weather. Wind 260 at 5, visibility 10. Sky conditions 800 few, 2,800 scattered, 4,800 broken, temperature 16, dew point 15. Altimeter 3003. Arriving runways 32 right, 32 left. Departing runways 32 right, 32 left. Advise on initial contact, you have echo.
And we do have echo, local altimeter is set. 24 is not the active runway, but it makes more sense because that's where the wind is coming from. And I do want to land with a slight headwind. So soon we are turning, 243. Landing speeds. (4,000 feet). And turning on our final. Yeah, 1,000 feet to go. And in the meantime, keep an eye on the speed. Yeah, these engines have a little bit of lag. When I set the thrust on these engines, then it takes a while until they respond. Good old JT8Ds. And then course 243. Switch back to nav mode. And flight director approach manual. And there we go. ILS. It's a little bit weird that the glide slope is on the left side. But anyway. So, I should probably take over. There we go, my aircraft. And follow the flight director. And in the meantime manage speed, extend flaps. Also, soon the gear can come down. But I don't have any visual sighting of the runway yet, or the airport. There's so much to manage on this plane. Also have to extend speed brakes manually. I have a button set for that on my stick. And that's where I should have a yoke, because FlyJSim planes, like I said, are a little bit sensitive with joystick. Although I think I managed to fine-tune it. But anyway, it would be much different with a yoke. Oops, we are dipping a little bit below. And speed is down, so add engine power. Get back on the glide slope quickly. And auto brakes minimum. there's a little bit of wind, and that's the runway up ahead. Looks like I'm on the glide slope, but the localizer we're drifting to the right. So let's bring it back. Yeah, I need to fly these kinds of planes much more often. It's easy when the autopilot in the computer does everything. For example, on the Airbus,
500.
everything is so convenient. And drifting to the left, but too whites to red. Speed is kind of okay, 140. And get back on the glide slope.
400.
Yeah, this is challenging
300.
in this kind of weather. So let's see if we can bring it down in one piece.
200.
And a little bit too high, but I think we can manage to get down in the touchdown zone. Yeah, this runway is 8,000 feet long, should be more than enough.
Sink rate. 40. 30. 20.
And here we go. Great landing, 176.32 FPM and reverse thrust. I think I also extended the speed brakes, hopefully, and we bounced a little bit. And we are not going to make that exit, but braking. And this is a intersection. Yep, speed brakes are extended. Move it back down. And taxi lights. Normally no action on the runway. Clean the airplane up. And we can just taxi to the cargo area. Yeah, this is beautiful freeway airport scenery. I think I used it in a couple of my previous videos, one with the E195 and also one with the Tolis A319. But it's a little bit heavy on the frame rates, especially with these kind of clouds. But yeah, it was a great flight, so I need to practice with this plane a little bit more. Meanwhile, weather radar off. Oops. Need to keep an eye on the taxiway. Plane tends to move when left to its own devices. So yeah, FlyJSim planes, good old 727. Maybe I'm going to do one also next time with the 737-200 and APU on. Hold it there. Hopefully I'm not. Yeah, looks like we're good. Didn't want to drift from the taxiway. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I was going a little bit fast. So that's the cargo area. Also on the other side, but I'm just going to go look for a spot up ahead. So MD-11. Rotate sim still working on the MD-11. I don't know how many years it has been. So just roll up ahead. Probably I'm going to stop somewhere there. Yeah, 727. Probably there were a couple of mistakes on the way that I did in this flight, but we managed to get here in one piece. Still practicing with this plane. And next time we are going to fly with one of these FlyJSim planes, maybe the Q400 once again, or one of these guys with the INS or just VOR to VOR navigation. And in the meantime, let's give it over to APU power. Yeah, frame rates are a little bit low, probably because of the clouds. And stop here. Looks about okay. Now we can go a little bit further. And stop. Fantastic. And soon we can listen to the amazing engine sounds when we shut down the engines. Fantastic F mod, really high quality. And give it back to ground mode. I don't know if it's the correct time to do that, but gonna have to read up on the manual. And engines off. Amazing. So we can probably shut down the beacon lights as well. So, and time to watch the replay. In the meantime, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you in the next one, and wish everybody all the best.